just before we get into this week's podcast, me and Bradley both thought that we should let you know why the episode is the length that it is, why it contains the content that it does. And essentially, what it boils down to is that we were both really unhappy with this week's episode. The very first thing I said to Bradley after we finished our little recording session on Wednesday was that this was my least favourite episode that we'd recorded, and quite honestly, it got me quite down about it. Because me and Bradley were both people who want to take pride in our work. We want to produce the absolute best quality content that we can in, a good length for a podcast. And with what came out of this week's recording session, we didn't feel proud. We didn't feel like we had substantial content that was, interesting or funny or whatever. And, essentially what we want to do is give you guys the kind of cut down, segments of the podcast that we did record. And admittedly, there's not a lot that we're super proud of, but realistically, neither of us have the time to re-record it before it goes out on Monday. I'm currently filming this and editing this on the Friday evening before it goes out, and it was just a weird recording session. Just nothing seemed to click. We kind of both felt like we were just waiting around for something interesting or funny to happen, and it just never happened. So when it came to releasing this, we basically had three options. Option one, put out a podcast that we were really unhappy with, weren't proud of, and genuinely it would be, just kind of an anomaly because we weren't happy with it at all. And option two was basically completely deleting episode 3 and just not having a podcast this week and being back next week for the May the 4th podcast, which we've got some good plans for. But option 3, which was the option that we did ultimately go for, was just cutting down the podcast that we did record and just giving this little explanation just to let you know what's happening and why this podcast is the length that it is, why it contains the content it does. And essentially, as I said, it just didn't work this week for us. But we still wanted to give you guys something. We wanted to give you a podcast to listen to because we love doing this. These past 3 weeks have been, honestly, some of the happiest that we've both had in a long time in terms of content creation and just having something to be proud of. Obviously, it's a tough time in the world right now, and we want to do this to give you something to be entertained by, and we're entertained by making it and then listening back to it. But we really hope you can understand why we did this the way that we did. And we can promise you that we're going to try and not have this happen again. We're going to try and make each week just as perfect as we possibly can, because we're both people who we want to take pride in our work. We want to make something that's actually entertaining and worthwhile listening to. And this week, it just wasn't that week, really. But without further ado, we hope you enjoyed this podcast nonetheless, and we'll see you next week for what will hopefully be a really fun May the 4th podcast. Enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Daily Weekly Podcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Bradley. Here we are, 3 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, episode 3. It's quite a big accomplishment.
I think so. We're doing good.
Yeah, we definitely are. So first of all, we just want to thank everyone who listened to Monday's episode. We really appreciate all the feedback. We loved episode 2. It was easily our favourite one to record out of the 2 that we've done.
Oh, it was. And I think because it was just on the spot, and some of the things that we were saying, yeah.
Yeah. And this week, no different. We're just doing it as we go,
Yeah. And, as I did last week, I just want to give another shout out to another fan. I'm calling you guys fans now. I guess you are. Who, again, got in contact with me yesterday to say, I came across your podcast on Instagram and it was really good. I was really impressed, especially with the graphics, which I can't take credit for. That's all on you, Jake.
I was going to say, I can take credit for that.
Yes.
I will take full credit for. Yeah. the support's been great so far, and we're loving doing it. So if you do want to see us keep doing this every week, then be sure to subscribe, like the video and all of that.
Yeah, it really helps us because we can see that you guys are liking it, and we'll keep on making it, and we're just going with it.
Yep, definitely. And I guess we should also mention that pretty much everywhere where you can stream a podcast, we're now there. Okay, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're absolutely everywhere. So if you're listening to this on YouTube and you prefer Spotify, then, we're on Spotify. Just search up the Daily Weekly Podcast. If not, the link will be down in the description to absolutely everywhere you can find us.
Yeah, we are literally anywhere.
Yeah. Well, we are absolutely everywhere that you can listen to a podcast. So if you have a preferred method, then likelihood is we'll be there.
Yeah, there is no escaping us.
No, never. Also, social media. Did we have an Instagram last week?
Yes, we did. We mentioned it. We were like, yes, we're now on Instagram.
Okay, yeah. So we're still on Instagram. That hasn't changed. Twitter, it's all the same. It's all down in the description. Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, will be on the screen, always at the bottom. So, yeah, if you're interested, follow us there for any news updates, some behind-the-scenes stuff, and it's just kind of a bit more of a delve into our personal lives, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, I hadn't seen this part of the notes before, Bradley. Okay. Well, as you wrote that, you are now obliged to introduce that.
Well, as you may know from last week, I made the revelation that I thought Darth Vader was on wheels. And I said, I'm going to go away and try and find what made me think this when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I haven't found anything, so there's no trace of Darth Vader on wheels. But if you find him, let me know.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering, in the notes, Bradley written brackets, should make a wanted poster, haha. So, if you're watching on YouTube and there's a wanted poster on screen, then that means I actually have some form of effort to create that. If not, then
I'll do my best to make one.
Yeah, we'll make one. We'll make one. Follow our Twitter.
Yes.
And you might get one.
Oh, God.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of watching on YouTube, last week, I did some funnies in the edit. And I'm going to try and do the same this week, if there's anything worth doing like that. So, if you're watching on Spotify, but, you're more than happy to watch on YouTube, might as well check it out, because, there might be some little things to watch out for.
Yeah, and, if you're on YouTube, like last week, you can definitely get involved with the debate whether the bin was floating or not.
Yes.
All the proof you need is in that video, so check it out.
I mean, listen, I wasn't saying that I didn't understand where you were coming from and where other people were coming from. It's just, it's just perception. I look at it, I see a wheelie bin with a puddle, because to my brain that's a normal, but apparently to yours, floating wheelie bins are a daily occurrence, obviously.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a daily occurrence, and that's what made me see that it was floating, because it's so unusual. Whenever I look at it, even now, I only see it floating.
It's so weird that it must be true.
Exactly. It wouldn't make the newspapers, would it, otherwise?
No comment. So this week we're trying something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a tier list of all of our favourite Marvel movies. So
yes, exclusively from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I should point out.
Yes. So on screen now you'll see what I'm seeing. I've organised the tier list into the order they've come out at the bottom, because it was a bit scrambled. So so here's the tier list. You're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, and we're just going to be ranking them. We're going to, I guess, start from the beginning, work our way through.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Iron Man. What? Where do you think this belongs?
I don't think it's as good as what people say it is.
Do you think so?
I mean, to me, it's in the middle ground. That's where I'd
I
put it. Maybe slightly higher, but not at the top.
I think I'd put it in B. Yeah, I think it's definitely not bad, and obviously it started off the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah,
but the quality of film has improved since, and I think, with the benefit of hindsight, we can kind of realise that maybe it's not
definitely.
that great.
Like,
So,
it's definitely significant, but yeah.
yeah. So, in my eyes, what is the non-MCU movie? The Incredible Hulk.
Oh dear. It just
Yeah.
it sticks out like a sore thumb to me, that movie.
I agree. I think, like I say, to me, it's very much so the non-MCU movie in terms of, apart from one brief cameo of Tony Stark at the end.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's great. I'd honestly put it in C. I don't think it's awful. I think there are movies in this list that are worse, or at least a movie.
really.
Um, I mm, I mean, we do have For the Dark World on here.
I think that is better, but we'll get to that.
Okay, all right. I'll put it in D. Okay, so the sequel to Iron Man, the just extremely well titled Iron Man 2.
I enjoy this one more than the first.
You enjoyed it more than the first.
Yes,
I agree,
I feel like it was
but
more connected to the rest of.
yeah. However, see, I don't know, because I think that there's movies that are better than Iron Man in this list, but probably aren't, deserving of the A category.
Yeah, I get
But
that.
I don't know if I want to move Iron Man down because it is still good.
Hmm.
Tell you what, I'm going to put Iron Man 2 in B,
Yeah,
but I just don't think it's quite deserving of an A
I agree.
person. Okay, so now we have Chris Hemsworth as 4.
I really don't enjoy this movie.
You don't enjoy it?
Nah.
See, I don't mind it, but I prefer it to The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
And so I'd put that in C, personally.
yeah, that's good there.
Now, one of my favourite MCU movies, actually, Captain America the First Avenger.
I
I love
agree.
this movie.
I do too. It's so good.
I, I think the entire Cap trilogy has just been phenomenal, to be honest.
Yeah, that
Um,
should go quite high.
I'm going to put it in A because I don't think it's the best. I think we should reserve S for the absolute best.
Definitely.
Okay, so Captain America the First Avenger in A. So, the first Avengers movie, or as it was titled here in the UK, Avengers. What was it called?
Assemble.
Was it just Avengers Assemble?
Avengers Assemble,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. To me, and this might get a lot of flack, I don't think this movie is particularly great anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Especially with what's come after it. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not
Yeah.
that good. Oops.
I mean, obviously, it was the first of its kind. It was all these big cinematic, great movies just merging into one to create this team up movie, and
Yeah.
nothing had really been done like that before.
No.
But I definitely, I'd put it probably with Iron Man and Iron Man 2 in the B category.
Yeah, it's good in B. That's about right.
Yeah. Iron Man 3, my personal favourite of the Iron Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think it just has a better story. I enjoy it more, and I like that it's kind of post Avengers, and we
Yeah,
deal with Tony's anxieties about that. Um, but does it deserve to be with Captain America?
I think so. I think it
Yeah.
should be
Okay.
with.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll put it in A. So, for the Dark World, arguably the MCU's most criticized movie.
Which I don't understand. Sorry, I love it.
You love it. Oh
Well,
God.
I wouldn't
Uh,
say I love it, but I enjoy it far more than other people do.
yeah. I see. I don't despise it, but it's definitely for me in the lower category because I mean, look at all the movies we've got to rank still. Captain America,
I
the Winter
know.
Soldier. Civil
Yeah.
War. We've got a lot of great movies, so I don't really think that For the Dark World trumps any of them.
No.
So personally, I'd probably put it with the first four in C. But what do you think?
Yeah, looking at what other films we've got to do and the number of categories, I think C is the best place for it.
Yeah. Okay. So For the Dark World in category C. Now, one of, if not the most loved MCU movies. It's funny that how we had probably the most hated MCU movie and the most loved just back to back. That was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Um, I think this movie is damn near perfect. I'd put it S. Honestly, I really love it.
I would too. It's definitely deserving up there.
Yeah. Okay. So our first top tier movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
So now, a movie that kind of came out of just nowhere, I guess. Like, it was very kind of unexpected that, you know, Marvel and Disney would actually go ahead with a concept like this.
Yeah,
Guardians of the
it was
Galaxy.
very different to what we had previously.
Yeah, I mean, look at the release order. We have Captain America and the Winter Soldier, a very realistic, gritty political thriller, and then, basically a space comedy. It's
Yeah.
bizarre, but
Uh,
I enjoy it,
Yeah, I do.
but I don't think it's one of the best.
No. I
And
prefer the second one.
I do too. I think with the first one they were like, oh yeah, let's try this kind of campy idea, and then the second one they was like, right, okay, we've got it established, full out, rainbow space travel with 70s music behind it, and
Yeah.
I'd put it B. I think.
Yeah, that's a fair place for it.
What was that?
That's a fair place for it, I agree.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, Guardians of the Galaxy in category B, along with Iron Man, Iron Man 2, The Avengers, and now Guardians. So, Avengers: Age of Ultron. What do you think?
I loved it, to be honest. I know I've said that about some other films, and I'm going to say it again, but because to me it had that they're already a team and they've already been working together, so it's
Yeah.
a real. It jumps straight into them being the Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I'd. See, I wish this tier list had more categories because I feel like there's. I want to put it between like A and B because I think it's better than the
Yeah.
movies that are in B, but not as good as the ones above. I'll
Yes,
put it in A.
it's going to be quite crowded, I think, but
Yeah, I'll put it in. I'll put it in A.
yeah.
But okay, so another movie that was kind of just sort of a bit sort of, oh, this is happening. Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell by the tone of your voice you might have differing opinions. To be honest,
Maybe. No, you say yours first, and I'll.
I really like Ant-Man. I think it's a great heist movie. I think they did a pretty damn good job of kind of demonstrating the powers, and I love the idea of kind of, you know, obviously in the source material, Hank Pym was the first Ant-Man,
Yeah.
and they still do that in the movie. Hank Pym has this history of being Ant-Man, but now Scott Lang comes along, he takes over that mantle, and I'd put it in B probably personally.
I will agree, actually, because although when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is cool, to
Mm,
me, nothing was jumping out compared to the others.
no,
But as I've watched it again and again, it's grown on me. And I think Paul
yeah.
Rudd does a great job.
Oh, he does. He's fantastic. Um, Again, I don't know if I prefer this one or the second one because I actually
Oh.
really like the second one.
I did like the second one,
But
but I feel sorry for it because it was released in such an awkward place.
yeah, I mean, you're between. Wait, what? The second one or the first one?
The second one.
Oh, okay. I mean, the first one was as well.
Yeah, looking
You,
back, they're both in
you're,
between these big movies.
I mean, yeah, Ant-Man 1 in between Age of Ultron and Civil War, and well, I mean, I guess Ant-Man and the Wasp was technically between Infinity War and Captain Marvel, but you know, um,
Yeah. Well,
I'll put Ant-Man in B. Now
yeah.
for probably my favorite Marvel movie of all time, Captain America: Civil War. We talked about this last week. How I personally think this movie is pretty damn perfect.
Yeah, it's. If I had to pick my favourite out of all of them, it would be this. I
I
loved
agree.
Civil War. It was just so good.
Although my only slight criticism with it is it doesn't need the Captain America title. I don't think.
No. So, I guess one thing that I remember saying when it was released was, has Captain America been robbed a third movie for this Avengers 2.5?
I think like this might be very biased, but I think where it's such a solid movie, I don't think he was robbed, and I think with you know this kind of shaped his future with him becoming Nomad and the person who he was in Infinity War and Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. I would still say, to me, it's more of Avengers 2.5, but very much
Yeah.
from his perspective.
Yes, definitely. That's the thing. I say that it doesn't deserve the Captain America title, but it is more of a Captain America movie than an Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
So I'd put, yeah, I'd put that S easily.
definitely. Straight to
Um,
the top.
and obviously it was the introduction to Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Of
So
course. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I remember that hype when that trailer came out and he just jumped down. It was
Yeah.
I think I cried. I remember crying. I don't know if that's something I've made up, but
Either way, it
either way.
was unexpected, to finally see
Yeah.
this. Oh,
I remember all that casting rumor and then suddenly just Tom Holland's been cast. Okay, when will we get to see the suit?
yeah.
Oh, that's the suit.
Yeah.
Okay. But another kind of wow, Captain America really has these sudden kind of departures from reality when they have a really kind of like dark, gritty, realistic movie,
And then
and
what
then
comes
just
after?
sort of a mystical, magical. We have Doctor Strange.
Yes. I remember seeing this for my, I think it was 16th birthday. I don't know if you, I think, were you there?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure you were there, yeah. And I was just blown away by the special effects that they used. I thought, wow, this is
yeah,
great. I do love it. It's
yeah,
probably one of my favourites. I mean, it's not. I
yeah.
wish it was longer, and there was
I think
slightly.
I think that's my only criticism is I wish it was longer.
Yeah,
I think it's a great movie, but yeah, if there was more substance, then I'd praise it highly. But I do love the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch. I was extremely skeptical of becoming Doctor Strange when the casting was released.
I wasn't a fan at first, but
No, I really wasn't. But I couldn't picture anyone else playing him now. I really couldn't.
yeah.
So I'd probably put it A. Do you agree, or would you put it S?
It's not good enough to be S, no, but definitely I think A is fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on par with Captain America: The First Avenger, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man
Yeah.
3. So now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We already spoke about this briefly. We think it's better than the first one.
I do,
Yeah.
by a great mile, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt Russell is just phenomenal as always.
Yeah. It
and-
just had a great balance of the humour, the story, the
Yeah.
seriousness, and then obviously the songs used as well.
Oh, I just remember, like I remember that kind of like shiver I got when that beat drops. And he says, it broke my heart to put that tumor in her.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh dear.
Yeah, we're not
he-
joking
he
around
has-
anymore, this is serious.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, I'd put it A, probably.
Yes, definitely an A.
Now, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me on this one, because I remember you not particularly loving this movie, but Spider-Man Homecoming, I
Yeah.
think, is one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man we've had, personally. But that might be me being a MCU shill. Who knows?
I was optimistic for this when it came out. I was excited, the first real MCU Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't do anything for me. At the end of it, I was sat there
Mhm.
thinking, "Oh, okay, was that it?" Sorry, but
I remember you actually saying that to me when we saw it
yeah,
in cinema. But I think this is another case again. I think Far From Home is the superior film,
yes,
personally.
greatly.
I don't think it's bad though. I'd personally put it in B. I don't think it's quite on the level of the 4 franchise. I think it's definitely kind of there with kind of Ant-Man, the first Avengers, and the first Guardians.
Yeah, I was
So-
going to say, despite what I think of it, it's not a bad movie.
It isn't, no. I mean, Michael Keaton as Vulture is great. He plays a great villain.
Definitely.
And apparently he's in Morbius
Oh,
with
yeah.
Sony's not MCU.
Yeah, it's like on the side.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Right, so I'm going to put that in B. I think it is a good movie. I think with both our kind of opinions of it balanced out, that's sort of where it would go anyway.
Yeah.
So, probably one of the biggest franchise kind of switch-ups in the MCU for Ragnarok.
This movie was a lot
yeah.
of fun.
It
I-
really was.
Was not what I expected at all. I mean,
No.
the trailers gave off some different vibes to the previous ones, but
But
it
when you
was-
actually watch the movie, it's a great. I'd argue this is probably one of like I don't know if you include Ant-Man, but probably one of the main kind of just this is a comedy movie because it is realistically.
yeah, it is.
like-
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some kind of serious-ish bits, but even then, Chris Hemsworth's cracking jokes, and it is a fun movie. I really enjoy it. It's just like, even looking at the posters now, how dark and gritty the first twos are, and then suddenly
it's
for
so
Ragnarok,
bright and colourful, and there's so much going on, and you're like, wow, what's
Yeah.
this? And we can't forget Thor Ragnarok, because when we met fan favourite Korg, our lovable
yes.
rock friend.
Yeah, one of just the greatest things that has ever come out of this universe.
Oh, it
honestly.
really is. He's just so good.
But do you think it's as good as The Winter Soldier and Civil War?
Oh, it's hard because they're different genres, really.
Yeah,
So it for its comedy nature, I think it's really good. But if I
Hmm.
say, "Oh, is it a good serious movie?" No, it isn't.
No, I
So,
mean, I admit I love the use of "Immigrant" song by Led Zeppelin in the opening fight.
oh
It's
yes,
just
again,
I love that song anyway, but
yeah, it
just
was
with that action
another
scenes.
movie to use, songs that you wouldn't think they would use. Like, the
Yeah, definitely.
Thor's Dark World didn't have some, song, and it didn't have a song in it to go along.
No.
So it was so dumb. And like the final fight as well, when he
Yeah.
comes all charged up, and yeah.
Hmm. It's
Oh.
like they looked at like Thor's character from previous movies and it was like, well, you know, this is great and all, but at the end of the day, he's a man with a hammer and a bit of, as Jeff Goldblum puts it, sparkle fingers.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
yeah, but with this movie, they've really just upped him up. Like he is the god of thunder. Like that just is him now.
Yeah. And
Um, I'd I'd actually put this in S. I think it's a really good movie, and honestly, movie's good when you're talking about it, and like you're very tempted to just go rewatch it when you finish recording a podcast. So
yes, definitely S
I'd
is where
put
it
it.
belongs.
Yeah, let's put an S. So, I don't know if you agree with me about this movie,
Hmm.
and we might get some criticism for this. Black Panther. I don't really enjoy it.
Um, when I first saw it, I was impressed. It was a good movie, but
Yeah.
then I wanted, like, the first time I rewatched it was with my dad because he hadn't seen it and he likes Marvel movies. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh, a new one's
Yeah.
out, let's watch it. And then he wasn't impressed with it, and I wasn't. I felt like, oh yeah, has this been overhyped? Did I fall victim to that? And now I've realised, and I think, yeah, I did.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it at all, but it's for me honestly, it's on the same level as the first four and the second four.
Yeah,
And see, I get what it did, right? It was the first movie, to come out of American cinema with pretty much, an entirely black cast bar Martin Freeman.
mm.
But I I just don't I just don't think it's particularly anything special in terms of like I get culturally, yeah, it's a big
Oh,
movie,
definitely,
but
yeah, it was
movie
amazing.
wise, yeah, movie wise, it's not particularly special to me. The soundtrack's great, but that's about it for me personally.
Yeah, it had a good soundtrack. It was groundbreaking culturally for what it was. Like, you'd
Yeah.
never see, no one would even think something this would happen. Go back 50 years, 60 years.
No, definitely not.
So for it to be now to be this, you know, record-breaking movie, it's fair
Hmm.
enough. But as an actual superhero Marvel movie compared to some of the others, not up there, I don't
Yeah.
think.
So, speaking of kind of large, culturally impactful movies, Avengers Infinity War. Arguably the most heartbreaking Marvel movie we've ever had. Where does this lie for you?
Um, to me, it was obviously it was the the kind of the everything that was building up has led
Yep.
to this everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great to see it all pay off.
Yep.
But in my mind, I was always looking past it. I always knew this was the
Mm.
first step, and the end game would be the real winner for me.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Like it for me, it is a phenomenal movie. I absolutely love it. But it is a part one, and I don't think this is up there with Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Ragnarok.
No.
But I'd say it's I. But the thing is, it is better than Age of Ultron for me,
It really
and
is.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, but we got nowhere else to put them.
I say Avengers Infinity War goes in A.
Yes, but it
Yeah.
would be more of an A plus.
Yeah, somewhere between A and S, because it is a phenomenal movie. The scene, towards the end where Thor comes down and the Avengers theme plays, it's
It
so
was.
good.
And
Chills.
yeah, and they did a really good blend of all these different movies and their individual tones, like how they
Yeah.
used Guardians, from their comedic
Mm.
background to something quite serious. And yeah,
Yeah. What was that location title? Space.
yeah,
Or
and
whatever.
it's just like everyone thought that was a joke, but then it was supposed to be kind of
Yeah.
serious. Like, no, this is what's going on.
No, this is space, yes. Yeah, I really like it. But out of the two, I do think Endgame is the superior movie.
Yes, I agree with that one massively.
Yeah. So, a very kind of just, I don't know, I guess kind of movie that everyone kind of forgets even happened. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it did fall victim to that release date, in between these big movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah.
good, but it did feel a bit filler. It was just there.
I agree. It feels like the story that they had, the villains that they had, everything that was in it, didn't necessarily need an entire movie dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Like they could have done like a little intro sequence where, oh, we've just caught this, villain named Ghost, and that would be like, oh, that's cool. That's a nice little comic reference, and then they could have gone on to do something else.
Yeah.
But I can't for the life of me remember the actress's name who plays Ghost. Apologies, but
No. Oops.
but she does a great job. But I don't think the character needs to be a whole kind of, oh, this is the villain for the movie.
And that's the thing. By the end of it, it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't resolved well enough.
No, it was just, oh yeah, suddenly now she's a good guy just because Janet helped her.
Yeah. Now they're gonna all work together, and then yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's as good or better or worse than the first one?
I would probably say equal, really, because
Yeah.
I mean we got more Wasp this time, so that was good. We got.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
don't really have much to say
also,
on it now.
No, it's very middling movie.
Yeah.
I don't really. I'll put it in B with the first Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So, I don't really know your opinions about this movie. I know that I quite like it. Captain Marvel.
Yes, I didn't see this with you. No, I went to see this with someone who wasn't really into superhero movies, and
Yeah.
I remember they were very bored.
Right.
But for my opinion on it, I didn't know what to think. The trailer intrigued me. The setting, back in the 90s with a young Nick Fury, and see how she played into all this. And I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't rush to watch it again.
I'm pretty much the same. I'd say, I like it. I do really like it. Like, for me, it's a very kind of like, oh, if I'm bored one night, maybe I'll put on Captain Marvel, because it's just a fun movie to have on.
Yeah.
But there was quite a few things that I didn't really enjoy. Personally, I mean, we might get a bit of hate for this. I don't really like the idea that the name Avengers came from her call sign.
Yeah, that felt a bit forced. And
yeah,
especially given there was like no mention of her before. Not even a throwaway line or anything. Oh yeah, we made this team because you were inspired by Captain Marvel, and Her call sign was Avenger.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. So
Uh, honestly, I'd probably put it in C with Thor, For the Dark World, and Black Panther.
yeah, I wouldn't rush to watch it again. It,
N-
I'm glad it's out there, but maybe the sequel
Yeah,
will be better,
yeah.
in my opinion.
So we're agreeing C.
C.
Yeah. So now on to the big one. One of probably the most anticipated movies of all time. It's the highest grossing movie in box office history. Avengers Endgame.
Yes. Wow. I love it. It's great.
I do.
I wouldn't say it's better than Civil
Yeah,
War, but it's definitely equal or just below.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, it's an S,
Oh,
no doubt.
definitely
But
straight up there.
like, I don't think like we went to see it at a cinema together. I don't think we've ever cried as much around each other as we did for that movie.
I know. That was, yeah. Oh, I didn't expect to cry, but I did.
I did. I fully expected to cry.
Oh,
But the thing is, like, the main death that got us, from what I remember, Black Widow.
yeah. I did not see that coming.
No, it's like we just kind of
Like, what? What's happening? How?
bawling our hearts out with her. It's like I never knew I had such a connection to Black
Yeah,
Widow
and
until that movie.
especially when she didn't come back. That was it.
But
Oh,
yeah, obviously, just the payoff of over 10 years, and there's some just moments that'll go down cinema history. Cap, picking up Mjolnir. It's just
that moment.
that beat as well,
Yeah.
taken from the first Avenger. That da da da. That's
Yeah.
just
It's
so
so good.
um.
Oh.
One moment I do want to talk about quick. I'm going to put it as an S. I remember you saying that you weren't particularly a fan of the delivery of the Avengers Assemble line. You thought it was a bit too quiet.
I agree. I will stand by this. I get,
Yeah.
I understood the way they went with it, but I wanted there to be a real kind of Avengers Assemble shout.
Yeah.
But the way he said it,
Uh,
it's like they didn't need that. They knew what they were there for. They knew what they were going to do. So I get,
I mean,
yeah,
I loved it, but I mean, I agree though. I think if they had recreated that comic moment of him holding up Mjolnir, shouting it with all the Avengers charging behind him,
yeah,
it would have been great. But no, it's a phenomenal movie. I would argue it does have some slow parts. Like the time travel stuff's fun, but I personally think it's just kind of that's the part of the movie I kind of like drift from a little bit when
Really?
I'm watching it. I was
Wow.
like like the moments in New York I enjoy, but everything else for me I just kind of obviously apart from Black Widow's death, I just kind of if that moment comes on, I sort of I'll go check Twitter quickly while this is happening.
Oh, I
But
remember watching it for the first time. When they started doing the time travel and going back, I
yeah,
was like, "Oh wow, this is really cool!" Like they're actually going back to visit these places. I thought it was good.
no, I enjoy it, but there was a lot of talk about it before
Yeah,
it came out. Like there was set photos with Cap in the 2012 suit and such,
yeah,
and it don't get me wrong, I love it. I do absolutely love it, but I just I love those moments still, but it's just the kind of less interesting part for me personally.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I'll say I agree with you, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I don't really know your opinions of this movie because we didn't see this one together, did we?
I don't think we did.
Or
Did
did
we?
we?
I don't know. I
I don't know.
I don't know who I saw it
But
with.
Spider-Man Far From Home. This feels like ages ago now this came out.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so long since we've had a Marvel movie.
Oh, it has. What was the last one? I can't remember.
The last one was Far
Oh, it
From
was,
Home.
wasn't it? Yeah. Wow. That's been
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm saying. It's the last one on this tier list. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Huh.
it's yeah. When did that come out? Hold on, I'm googling this very quickly.
It feels like it was so long ago.
Um, 2nd of July, 2019. It's been nearly a year without a Marvel movie.
Oh jeez, and it's going to be over a year.
Oh god, this is probably the longest we've gone without one, surely.
Yeah,
Since
I think it is. Yeah.
yeah,
And then we're only going to get one this year, Black Widow, because of what's happened.
yeah.
Huh.
What do you think of Far From Home? Because I personally think it's probably on the same level as the first Captain America.
Yeah, I think
In the A
A is the
category.
good place
Yeah.
for it. I really enjoyed it. To me, it was so much better than
Yeah.
the first one. Again, it was
Yeah.
he is Spider-Man, he's doing this, and the traveling part of the school, and
Mm.
I enjoyed it. And yeah, there was a lot of funny moments for me. I definitely love it. It was on
Yeah.
TV recently, and I watched it again,
Mhm.
and I was like, yeah, this is really good. I thought,
Yeah. And
yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, fantastic.
oh, I was just gonna say,
Um,
definitely great casting, and I hope to see
yeah.
more of him somehow, some way.
I mean, he isn't dead.
No,
Surely.
he can't be.
Surely he's not.
The Master of Illusions, he can't die.
No, definitely not. And plus he's got to come back for Sinister Six.
Yeah,
So,
so
um,
put
yeah,
that
I
out there.
agree. I just put it. I put an 8, and obviously we had the return of J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
That was a lovely surprise because I didn't.
Yeah.
I think I might have heard about it literally just before I went to see it, but I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I saw the leak scene of it before I went to see it. And yeah, I it's great. I mean, who would have thought that he'd be back?
yeah,
You
I
know,
didn't. Like people talk about it,
it's
like oh,
just
bring him back, and no one else can play him, and they actually did it. I was like, oh
yeah,
wow,
yeah. And I definitely want him to play a somewhat substantial role in Spider-Man 3 Homeless or Can't Go Home
yeah,
or whatever other home-related title
yes,
they
because
choose.
as they've
'Cause,
confirmed, the word home will be in the title.
they have, yes, yeah.
Wow.
Depending if they go with Kraven the Hunter, I really like the title Homeland Hunt.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
That's what
That sounds good.
that's what I've heard. I've heard that around a lot, and I've seen a lot of kind of fan art of the logo for it. And
Ooh.
I think Homeland Hunt would be great if they did Kraven as the villain.
Yeah, that would be good. Huh.
So that was our tier ranking list for the MCU movies. Let us know if you agree, disagree, if you have any, explicit opinions about these movies
I'm
that
sure
you
someone
just
does.
despise us for. Yeah. So just let us know, either through the comments, Twitter, absolutely anything. Just let us know what you think of this. And yeah, I guess that took up a lot longer than I thought it would.
Oh well, it did, didn't it?
That was nearly 40 minutes.
I didn't expect it to go on for that long.
No, me neither.
Oh,
So I guess we should quickly move on into another, I guess, superhero movie, if you want to call it that. Anti-hero movie.
yes.
Yeah. Venom, which has now been officially titled via a teaser that Tom Hardy posted on Instagram, then it was on YouTube and such. The title is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
I didn't expect this to be the title. I wasn't sure what they were going to do, so
No.
I was a bit surprised. And to me, it sounds more like a tagline or a slogan rather than a subtitle.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it. Literally, it came out yesterday as of the time of filming. And the amount of people that I've seen online say that it should be called Maximum Carnage.
Oh,
and,
that sounds
things like
worse,
that.
I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you include Carnage in it in any way, then it's gonna be
I can't take it seriously.
no. I can't take Woody Harrelson's wig seriously.
Oh, that was so bad.
Have you seen the set photos for Venom 2?
Oh.
They've actually got him a decent looking
Oh,
wig.
thank God for that.
He actually looks okay.
As long as it wasn't the same one.
Like, it's shorter. It's not it's not a sideshow Bob afro anymore. Like he actually has normal looking hair now.
That's good.
Oh
dear.
I guess another little teaser is that I don't know if you've seen any of this online, but on his Instagram, Tom Hardy, who of course plays Eddie Brock, who of course is Venom, he's been posting little like fan art of Venom kind of like eating Spider-Man and such. And
I haven't seen this. I don't.
But he's been deleting it very quickly.
Huh. Interesting.
Are we gonna get a Tom Holland cameo in Venom 2?
I think we will.
I don't know.
Maybe not. There definitely will be something. I'm confident there will be some Spider-Man thing in there. I don't know if.
But I mean, we already. Yeah, I mean, we already know in Morbius. Apparently, the Spider-Man PS4 game exists because they have art from that graffiti.
Yes.
Or something.
So.
From what I've heard, in the final movie, that is replaced by the Homecoming suit, and apparently, that is canon now.
Oh.
But.
Huh. I guess we'll see if it.
No, I mean, yeah.
If it fits in, or if it'd be like the Netflix shows that. Oh yeah, they're all connected, but it's time for the best part of the show, if you ask me.
Our favourite part.
The not yet titled news segment. Do. Oh God! Would you like to have a go at reading the title, or do you want me to do it?
I would absolutely.
Alrighty,
love
over to you.
Woman dating a chandelier has discrimination case thrown out.
I mean, I've got the article open, and it's the headline, and then a picture, and.
Anyone watching YouTube, I will have the picture on the screen.
This is a picture worth seeing, I tell you that.
So, this lady says her name here is Amanda Liberty. She says that she is in a relationship with her chandelier. Now, I don't know about you, but to me that doesn't sound like a particularly fruitful
It might be a bit one-sided.
Yeah. But how can you marry a chandelier but not
can
a
a chandelier
thing?
consent? I don't think so.
Exactly. The chandelier's giving no... Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's just done this article to seem like the innocent one, right? But actually, she's this cold, manipulating woman forcing the chandelier.
Don't forget, the chandelier is 92. She's taking advantage.
Yeah, it's the sugar daddy of chandeliers. He's worth probably thousands. And
Amanda.
Just don't be an idiot. Don't marry a 92-year-old chandelier without his consent. And I think that just about does it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on this very emotional journey with us, as always. We will see you again next Monday at 6 p.m. GMT. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter for more of the Daily Weekly podcast. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Goodbye.